didn't know what to do.
Right, it's true, yeah.
I think I'm gonna eat all of these chocolate now.
Freeze it, frozen chocolate.
Wait for our sound guy to come through. We're good? Okay, so let's bring it back together. Y'all have microphones in front of you so everyone can hear you talk. First question. How many impact points did you get? Did you get to your 25? 33. Woo! I'll ask you the second question in a second. How many did you get? 33 points over here.
All of the bundles.
25 and a half.
25 and a half. And the budget team got to play as well. Budget team?
Oh, right. We didn't input anything for the wild card.
25 points. Boom. Okay, now, here's the big question. How much did you spend? How much did you spend? What percent of your budget did you spend? 12%. They spent 12% of the budget. Over here?
9.5.
9.5%. You guys, budget team, frugal ones? Oh, look at that. Raise your hand if you're surprised.
I took off my budget hat.
No, you did not.
So just for reference, these are, to be clear, as I said earlier, these are not Palm Beach County numbers. They're estimates. But if this were Palm Beach numbers, every 1% of your budget is about $10 or $15 million. So if you spent 10%, you spent $150 million bucks. Couple questions. So you got close. Was it hard? Did you have to make hard decisions? Things you were like, ooh, I don't want to do that, but we're going to do it anyway?
This half.
Or was it just,
This
what's
is
that?
the easy half. It's easy to spend it.
Right. But was it hard? It was hard. It was easy to spend it, but were the ways you had to spend it challenging for you? Did you have to do things?
Yeah,
A lot of discussion. What were the big discussions about?
A lot of caveats. Well, if it was done this way, then it would.
The idea of
We were all right.
reducing class size for low-performing teachers. Or maybe we reduce the ratio or increase the ratio.
Are you doing it correctly to get the results?
If we reduce the ratio or increase the ratio on whatever the card said, so
Making
it was
adjustments
kind
to the
of- yeah,
strategy.
it was-
Are you surprised by how much you spent or how little you spent?
No.
Now you are, now that you know what it is. Were you surprised by how much or how little you spent?
No, I wasn't surprised by how much we spent. I think that what I detected was a tendency where you had to keep pushing yourself to what's good for the students. There became, sometimes the reaction would be, well, this will cost more, we'll have to do something with the teachers, we'll have to have more classrooms, and sometimes the yes answer became, but what's best for the students? And then building from there, I think there was a tendency sometimes to look at what was best, but then immediately see the potential problems, and I thought that was interesting.
When I was listening to some of the conversations today and also yesterday, I was hearing a lot about what is the impact on students, but also what's the impact on teachers and how that relates to students. And so I'm curious, I've never asked this question in one of these, but I'm kind of curious for this group in particular. What was the relationship between your observation of what moves were good for teachers and what moves were good for students? Were they the same or were they different?
We're starting to get at this when you're talking about the card around reducing teacher load for certain teachers. You want to say more about the conversation?
Well, we were talking about whether or not it was appropriate to reduce the teacher load for the underperforming teachers. We came to the conclusion that that was rewarding bad behavior. Instead, maybe reduce the number of classes they're teaching and the extra class they had to spend doing something else, professional development or with another teacher. That way they were getting to the point that they were improving performance in the long term and get them back to a normal class load later.
Yeah, I mean, I think the public conversation is so often about who's doing what's right for students and is it what's right for teachers and is it the same or is it different? I'm always taken in this game by how much the moves that are actually what teachers and school leaders want around things like collaborative planning time, around targeting time, are exactly the things that are right for students. And so there are some things where clearly there's attention, but there's a lot of things where there aren't, and I find that really refreshing in this kind of work. I think both teams had wild cards, right? Or did some work on wild cards? You adjusted cards.
We came around to figuring out a way to use them without changing
Way to use
them.
what you had. Okay, and you all were working on a wild card or two?
Yeah.
What'd you come up with?
We were talking about changing how
and the length of schools, so redoing how the schools and the students go to class and how long, to provide more time for those students who need more time and provide flexibility for students who need different types of programs or internships or things of that nature.
Are you lengthening the school day or doing other ways?
Depending on the
Summer.
needs of each group of kids.
Got
so
it.
they can get what they need.
And did that imply longer day for teachers as well, or did that, it did? Interesting. And one of the things we see, I don't know if we have it in there, I don't think we do, is some schools and districts are lengthening the school day by staggering the teacher day, which has an implication on things like class size and teacher loads, but also can find a way to manage that. Okay, so I want to move us into phase 2. And here's phase 2. You all know where we're going. Now you got to pay for it. So the next 36 or so cards in your deck are all savings cards. Choose a new reader, if you would. You're going to go through the same process, yes, no, maybe. Your job is to maintain your 25 green arrows, but get this back to being cost neutral, or as close as you can. I'm going to actually give you 20 minutes on this rather than, 25 minutes total. And I'll set the stopwatch up there again because I do want us to have some conversation afterwards. And also, something that we didn't include in the initial document that I sent out, but on reflection and I think would be a nice thing to do if you'd like it, is pulled some examples, some example analyses from other districts of what you're going to see in our next couple conversations, the kinds of analysis. And so I just want to be sure we have time so you can see those and sort of be prepared for what's coming. So I'm going to set the stopwatch for 25 minutes. Let's go figure out how to fund everything we want to do.
Okay.
All right, so we're trying to cut 9.5.